On behalf of the Indonesia project, I would like to welcome all of you to this Sadli lecture. This is Sadli lecture number 10, and so I would like to thank Faculty of Economics, the Dean, Pak Ari, for this long-standing collaboration between the ANU Indonesia project and the Faculty of Economic and Business at the University of Indonesia. And this time we also collaborate with Indonesia Services Dialogue, ISD, and we welcome this opportunity to collaborate with ISD, and thanks for Pak Chris to be here and other friends from ISD. So the main goal of Sadli lecture, as the Dean has mentioned, is to broaden and to stimulate discussion and public debate about economic policies in Indonesia in comparison with what has been going on in neighboring countries, such as what happened in Malaysia, Vietnam, China, India, and so on. And for that reason, this year we choose service sector, because there has been a debate that service sector development in Indonesia, in a way, lag behind comparing to some other countries in the neighborhood. And so we were lucky to have Chris Finley and Bumari Pangestu, who are willing to write a paper and to give this lecture on the issue. And hopefully, with this lecture, we can have more discussion, follow-up discussion, to strengthening the development of service sector in Indonesia. So that is the main goal of Sadli lecture. And we named this activity Sadli lecture to honor Pak Sadli. He is probably the most prominent, one of the most prominent economists in the 20s, 1990s, 80s, and even starting from 1960s. He's a very open person, willing to discuss and debate policies with everybody, among the academic, among the business communities, and also among the media person. So for that reason, we would like to honor him for his contribution to Indonesian policy. And ANU itself actually benefiting a lot from Pak Sadli. My senior in Indonesia project learned a lot about Indonesian economy through discussion with Pak Sadli. I myself do not have this luxury. I have only met Pak Sadli for several times. The first time I met him probably in early 2000 when Pak Sadli visited Ithaca. At the time, he visited Iwan Jaya Aziz, and so we got a gathering and discussed economic policy in Indonesia. And I was impressed how open he was as a senior person, willing to listen to students. At the time, I was a student, and taking serious, thinking about what we said. So good that we hope that by doing this we could produce more Sadli in Indonesia. Now, before I move to another section, I would like to introduce a little bit about the Indonesia project, who we are and what we are doing, because a lot of you are already familiar, but some other people in this room is not familiar with the Indonesia project. So let me see whether I can use this one. Does anybody can help to use this one? All right. So What is it, Indonesia Project? Indonesia Project, founded by Professor An in 1965, so we have been around for 50 years. It's a research group in ANU working on Indonesia. There are about 50 academics in Australian National University working on Indonesia, and about 12 of them are within the Indonesia Project. So our main objective is to contribute in developing research-based policy in Indonesia through conducting research, through disseminating research, so this is one of our activities, to creating public dialogue on research funding. And the third activity that we did is carrying capacity building and establishing a research network throughout Indonesia and Australia. So, So here are our activities. Within research and capacity building, each of us doing our own research. We have PhD students. Some of our products are actually over here. Right now there are about 8 Indonesian studying economics with us, and about 12 Indonesian in political science, and several others in demography and anthropology. We have a visiting fellow program, so we are actually inviting Indonesian for every year to stay with us for a month. We have research network program in which we actually providing a grant. We have also a travel grant, and we have Tekianwi Distinguished Visiting Professor program, in which we invite prominent Indonesia to visit ANU for 3 months. And on the dissemination activity, we got a lot of activities. Almost every week, actually, we are conducting activities. In Australia, we have this Indonesia update in September. I will talk about that more. We have the Bulletin of Indonesian Economic Studies. It's a journal that we published since 1965. And we have various lectures. Sadli lecture in April in Jakarta, and in one other city outside Jakarta. We have Budy Resosudarmo Policy Forum in June in Jakarta, and one other cities. We have BS Economic Dialogue in Bandung, and 2 other cities in Jakarta. And together with about 12 institutions in Indonesia, we organize a weekly seminar that we call Forum Kajian Pembangunan. We also conducting a high-level policy dialogue with the Ministry of Finance, and we have other public lecture in Australia and Indonesia on specific cases. So we organize this quite a lot of activities, both in Australia and in Indonesia. And these are places where we conducting seminar, public debate in the last 3 years. So we have organized public debate in Banda Aceh until Jayapura in the last 3 years. So we are quite intensive in terms of pushing Indonesian intellectual to engage in this more serious research-based public debate, and we hope that we will achieve something in the near future. So, however, there are 2 flags of activities that we maintain since quite a long time. The first one is publishing this journal, what we call it the Bulletin Indonesian Economic Studies. It has been published since 1965. And in each number we have survey of recent development. So we are conducting a survey on Indonesian economy in the last 4 months. By now it's probably becoming a source to understand the history of Indonesian economy in the last 50 years. And each year in September, we organize this Indonesia Update Conference. It is the biggest conference on Indonesia in Australia. Each year about 400 people throughout Australia come to this conference. This conference consists of two parts. The first part is about the political and economic development of Indonesia. And the second part is about a certain topic, and this topic changes every year. So, for example, our Indonesia update this year is about digital Indonesia, challenging and opportunity of digital revolution. So we are inviting people to talk about the implication of digital revolution in Indonesia. That is about the media implication, way of life, politics, and economic implication of digital revolution in Indonesia. And in June next year, after the update, we produce a book based on this update, and we disseminate throughout Indonesia. So here are the example of 3 books that we published in the last 3 years. So two years ago we talked about regional dynamic in Indonesia, since it's about regional development. Last year is about Pak SBY presidency, our opinion about his presidency in the last 10 years. And the upcoming that we're going to launch this year is about land and development in Indonesia. And here are the upcoming event in Jakarta. We are this year the host of Forum Kajian Pembangunan is LPEM, and they will conducting a seminar in April 25th. Hadisudarmo Policy Forum is also coming in June 1st in CSAS. Within the Hadisudarmo Forum, we are going to launch the Land and Development book in Indonesia. And the BS Economic Dialogue will be in November, and we also organize new activities, which is, we call it the Young Scientist Forum, in which we invite young scientists, those who are in engineering and in basic science, who recently got a PhD, to travel throughout Indonesia to talk about their work to encourage Indonesians to be more interested with science and engineering. So that are our activities, and thank you again, thank you for coming, and also I would like to thank the Ministry of Trade, Pak Lempong, for coming. Thank you, Pak. We appreciate your willingness to come. And here is the Sadli lecture. Please enjoy. Thank you.